Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
O's mad, 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 O's mad. I pull up in that old jet, O's fast.
Hey, hi, hello, what's good, what's up? We took another week break thing again, but we're back with episode 15, so that's a plus, this will probably be a shorter episode, I want to say, just because, it's just an update episode, it's just an update thing. I didn't really have a topic or anything, scheduled. I just wanted to go over some plans I had with the podcast, with, updates on another random tale, the comic book I'm working on, and then just overall plans for 2020 moving forward with, like, art project and all that good stuff. So, it should go through pretty quickly. I just wanted to talk about some stuff, explain some things, this, that, and then next week we should be back with a normal topic, I believe. But I do have some plans and some ideas I want to have ready for 2020. They're not going to be done now just because I want to keep flowing with this, get used to the podcast stuff like this right now, and then 2020 we can take what we've learned and what we've done and improve from there. That's the basic idea of it. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I think I'll start off with just overall plans I have for the podcast going forward. And sorry for the noises in the background. I'm downstairs. My brother's home from school. He's doing some stuff. And blah, 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 blah. But he's asleep right now. So I didn't want to be upstairs bothering him. But yeah, we're downstairs. We're back downstairs in the living room again. So that's also probably why I sound a little quieter. I'm not trying to be too loud. Which is funny because I'm recording this at like 11:30. So, yeah, no, he stayed up. Everyone stayed up late, but I got up a little earlier. But, yeah, I wanted to start off with the podcast stuff just because, I mean, if you listen to this every week, this is the podcast. So I thought it'd be best to go over that information first. So with 40 Ounce Fridays, it's still going to be weekly. It's still going to be Fridays. I still want to do that 100%. Don't want to change release schedule or name or anything like that. I think it fits. I think it sticks. The feedback I have gotten has been pretty good. You know, people telling me, you know, what I can improve on, what would they like to hear from the podcast, what they like to hear me talk about personally, and then just like overall like, oh, I liked when you did this episode or something like this. So I'm getting a good mix of like, from what people have been telling me, the people that have been talking to me about it, like, telling me, like, hey, I like it, this and this, or hey, you should try to do this, or hey. So it's a good balance of, compliments and criticism, and I like that moving. But moving forward, I do want to improve, and I do want to take it to the next step. So, first off, hopefully in these next few months, I'll be able, every now and then, to buy, like, maybe, like, a piece of equipment or something to help better improve the audio quality and the recording quality of the podcast, because right now, before I was using my tablet, and I had my headset, but my headset broke. I just still have to buy a new headset. I just haven't done it yet because I'm lazy, but eventually I'll get that. But I'll probably get a headset, and I'll probably get some headphones specifically for recording, and then I'll just use my headset for my games, and then I'll have a specific headset for recording audio, headphones, good for that. And also my tablet charger broke. I talked about that, and I was like, well, instead of just buying a new tablet charger, which I could do, I could just buy a new charger for that tablet and everything would be fine. It's just like, well, why don't I just wait until I get an upgrade, because that tablet was like $80 and I've had it for 2 years. So yeah, I got my money's worth out of it. It was $80. It was cheap. I got it out of necessity because I wanted something better to type on. than my old busted up laptop because it's kind of old and slow. I still have that, but I don't want to use that, if that makes sense. I don't really want to use that laptop just because I think it's very unreliable. Like with the tablet, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. I wanted something to type on, and I could record the podcast off of it, so that worked. But since I'm not using the tablet and the headset broke, I got my Bluetooth headphones, I got an aux cord. So the audio quality has been a little weaker, I feel like, with these headphones, just because they're not made for this. And with an aux cord, I think the sound quality is lower on these. But the signal with the Bluetooth, like, caused a lot of cutting in the audio. I could hear kind of like this cut in and out the one time I used them before, like way, way back. And I don't like the way that sounded. I don't really like the way this sounds either necessarily, but it's something I gotta do. So, and I also am recording off my phone, so I think the phone is a little weaker than the tablet. Let me try to get comfortable so this chair will stop squeaking. But moving forward over the next, few months and then early next year, hopefully I'll be able to buy some better stuff for recording, because this is something I definitely want to spend more time doing. Like, this is something I definitely want to dedicate a little bit more time to. I think it still is very hobby-ish level, but if I want to move it from hobby to something more than that, I'm going to have to put in the time, the effort, and the money to do so. So I'm not going to go, like, all out, but I do want to upgrade. Like, when I get a better laptop, I don't know if I'm getting a laptop or another kind of, like, tablet thing. I would love, like, the actual, like, Windows tablet thing that folds to a laptop with the keyboard and then the tablet. Those look super cool. They're also kind of pricey. So if I can get a steal on one in the coming months, I will try to pick it up, because that's the only reason why I got that tablet, because it was $80. So I was just like, I'm just gonna grab it. That's the main thing. And like I said, I want to get better headphones specifically for recording, and that's just all I'll use them for, is recording, and just keep them safe. Maybe get a mic. I'm thinking of getting a mic. I have to look into what mics to get, though. I just don't want to buy a mic and it's no fucking good, and then I just wasted some money on a mic. I'm going to have to look up what I'm looking for specifically in recording, especially with my setup. So, something to type onto that'll double as me being able to record. And Podbean also updated so you can do, like, these live casts. Like, I think they're video casts, too. But you need to do it on a computer. So I can't do it off my phone. It'll tell me I have to go to the website on the computer. So I can do stuff like that. I can do, like, live casts whenever the mood strikes me. So we'll do that, and it'll double as helping me... Ooh, shit. Bumped the table. Helping me type another random tale. But yeah, so I think I'll work on the headphones first, because that'll just help overall right now. Then look into a mic, and then look into, like, the tablet. Just kind of work my way up to the more expensive thing later. Because I think as of this year, I probably won't have... I won't be in a position to have enough money to buy a new tablet or laptop as of this year. But 2020, I definitely will. Early 2020, I should. Within, like, the first month or two, I should be able to get one. Because I'm doing other stuff too. Like, I'm finally going to try to get my license. Because if I can get a license, I have a better opportunity to look for work for other jobs. And then I want to try to go back to school, but do, like, a trade school thing. Whew. Excuse me, I'm so fucking tired. I stayed up till, like, almost 3 last night. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for the in terms of technical stuff with the podcast. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Over the next coming months, I'm going to try to get the ball rolling on that. I do want to get my license, hopefully before the year ends. So I'm going to need to study up on that. And then I can work on getting a car. That'll help me get better jobs. But I am going to work on getting the headphones, which shouldn't be too hard. I could just ask around a couple of friends, see where I can get some affordable, but, at least decent quality headphones to record with. Same thing with the mic. Tablet, I'll do my own research on, see what works best for me overall. But that's pretty much it for that. in terms of the technical side of things. In terms of, like, podcast structure, I actually, because these podcasts I do heavily, like, unscripted, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just kind of how I've always done it. It's just kind of like my raw thoughts on whatever I wanted the topic to be that week, and I'll think about it, especially when I think of the topic ahead of time. I'll be, like, thinking it over, like, what to say. I might put little notes down, but in terms of, like, scripts, I haven't really written heavy scripts for the podcast. And it might sound weird, it's like scripts. It's just, to keep on topic, to keep saying what needs to be said about the subject, things like that. And the podcast has been super rambly, mainly just because I don't have a co-host. It's me talking. So I feel like going forward when we get to 2020, because what I'm going to do is for the rest of the year, I think that gives us, like, including this one, I think I have, if I continue to do once every week without any more breaks, including this one, that's 14 more episodes. So we'll have, like, 28 episodes done by the end of this year, which is crazy to think about. 28. That's like a season, or a little over a season. It's like a season and 2 OVAs. So think of this as, like, season 1 of 40 Ounce Fridays. And then 2020, once I get into the motion of that, think of that as, like, season 2. I keep bumping this table. As, like, season 2, where we will try to step the game up in terms of, like, not only the technical aspects, but the quality and structure of the podcast. Again, I've been saying since the start, since, like, the test podcast episodes, that I want a co-host. I want someone to talk to and spitball whatever topics we're talking about off of each other. It's just hard to find the time. I have people that I want to do it with, but it's like scheduling the time for both of us to be free, because I could record the podcast earlier in the week and just upload it on Friday. I just haven't done that. I like, since I do everything off the top of my head, I like doing the podcast the day of, because it's just like my raw thoughts in that moment on that Friday, then upload it. That's kind of how I've been doing it. But if I want to host, we gotta find a time where both of us are free and we can take the time to do it and go somewhere and take, like, an hour or two to shoot the shit. It might not necessarily be on a Friday, so I'm gonna have to do it earlier in the week, and then I'll just schedule it to upload on Friday. And I don't think that's a big deal. Excuse me. I don't think that's a big deal at all. It's just one of those things. It'd still be 40 Ounce Friday. Still comes out on a Friday. Something to chill to for an hour. And also, that would give me more of an opportunity to actually fit 40 Ounce Fridays and drink. I drink a lot of coffee because I usually do the podcast in the morning. Yeah, that'd be fun too. So I want to do that. And also for the structure, I want to have, like, kind of like, I don't want to say the same structure every week kind of thing, but like segmentations. Like, Podbean lets me record about 90 minutes of audio on their app. So it's like I can section it off. And then that's what I've been planning to do. And so here's the idea, basic idea of what I want. It's like we do our intro, the little Hosmat theme song. Also, should I change the opening to something else? Since we're going to go into, like, a new season, so to speak, in 2020? Or should I just leave it as Hosmat, the Dragon Quest Hosmat? Because that song's still a banger. So, if anyone has anything to say on that, let me know. Also, if I can get in touch with some of my friends to do music, because we've been trying to get together to do music for a while. We could make our own opening. That'd be fucking cool. But that's like best case scenario kind of thing. But, introductions, maybe like some quick little nerd news facts, like, oh, this game going on, this and that, oh, this show. And that could be, like, all together, like, maybe, like, the first 10 minutes of the podcast. Also, side note, Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition dropped today, or if you're like me, 9 p.m. last night. Well, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It was midnight in the East Coast. But it came out, and I didn't play too deeply because I was watching a movie with my mom. So I didn't end up playing a lot, but afterwards I played for like another hour-ish, hour and a half. I'm still in the very early stages. But that's because I like exploring, even though I already played the game again. I want to see what little things they added, because I know there's going to be new content story-wise later, like little side things. But it looks good so far from what I played from the demo before too. Same thing. Orchestrated music definitely sounds a lot better. But if you didn't mind or liked the synthesized music better, you can go to your options menu and switch it to the synthesized music. Also, you can play on the 2D and 3D style, and you can switch between those by going to a church, and you can just switch it at any point to play in 2D mode if you were in 3D mode, or 3D mode if you were in 2D mode. So you don't have to worry at the start of your file of, like, what mode should I play on, because this will be the mode I play throughout the game. You can switch back and forth, so you can always experience stuff differently, which I think is really cool. Draconian Quests are back, and I heard they added a few new Draconian Quests. I didn't play with them on. I'm going to do a playthrough right now, just straight through, normally. And then I'm going to replay the game again, which would be me replaying the game a third time, because I played it on PS4. But then I'm going to have Draconian Quest on. So yeah, so far so good. It feels nice. Like I said, the graphics, sometimes they can be a little fuzzier because of, the downgrade from the Switch. But it's not bad. I like the way it looks. Yeah, other than the fuzziness, it looks fantastic. They also added a photo mode, so if you want to take pictures, you could do that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to chronicleize my journey through photos. I think that's fun. Photo modes are always dope. But, that's all I have to say about it. I'll update every now and then as I'm playing through the Switch version, especially once we get to the new added content that I haven't played before. So, I'm excited to play Dragon Quest XI again. Also, I don't think they're out yet, but they are adding the original trilogy, the original Dragon Quest trilogy to the Switch. It's in the eShop. And they're pretty cheap. The first one I think is like $5. The second one is like a little more than that. And I think the most expensive one is the third one. But they're like updated a little bit graphically and colorfully. They look nice. But yeah, it's Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. They're going to be in the Switch, the eShop. You can pre-purchase them now. I don't think they're out yet, but you can pre-purchase them. They might be out, actually. I'm going to have to look. But I'll probably be picking those up later, like after I finish 11 again. I'll probably go back, because I haven't played the first 3. The only Dragon Quest games I've played, I played all through 9, I played all through 11, and I played a little bit of 8 on an emulator. I just never finished it because the emulator was fucking up, because my computer was fucking up. But everyone says 8 is fantastic. So since they added the first 3, I'm kind of hoping they add the other ones too, because that'd be dope. Because I know I got off topic, but just let me finish my thought. But because I'd be down to play all the old Dragon Quest games again, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, because before 11 came out, it was almost unanimous in the Dragon Quest community that 8 was the best game. Now with 11 out, it's kind of like, some people still think 8 is the best, but love 11, or some people still love 8, but think 11 is better. So, that game's fantastic. I played 9 on a DS emulator, but I didn't get the core, online features that, they built it off of with the special dungeons that you could go through with your friends, because I had it on an emulator, and even if I bought it, I think by then, the DSi, internet network was down. It was done. I think they had moved on to 3DS by then. So it'd be cool if they put 9 on the Switch, and then you could do the online features again. And then, with Dragon Quest X, it never got released in the West, but it was an MMO. So, that'd be dope, because then we could get 10 for the first time in the West, and be able to play online like that, like an MMO. That'd be great. And then you can have all 11 games all on the go on your Switch. That'd be cool. Because Final Fantasy's doing it. Final Fantasy has like 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, and 15 Pocket Edition. All on the Switch. And they could easily add 1, 2, 3, 4 of the After Years, 5 and 6. Those aren't too graphically taxing, I don't believe. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Maybe it's going to be harder, but they could easily add those. So please bring the classic RPGs to the Switch. Let Nintendo have them. Let the Switch do it. All those old school classic RPG adventures all in the palm of your hand. But anywho, so like I said, first 10 minutes, intro of the podcast, and then I'll have, I'm thinking like a 20, 25 minute section where, because with the Yu Yu Hakusho analysis stuff, I feel like those need to be scripted if I'm going to do full videos like that, or full podcasts like that, like uploads. Those need to be scripted so I can keep my thoughts together, and so I'm not trying to remember them off the top of my head, and I can have a better presentation overall with those. Like, I want to do better with those. But I was thinking, as I finally had finished Yu Yu Hakusho for, the 11,000th time, what if on the podcast I did, like, a weekly, like, episode analysis? So, like, I watch episode 1 again, and I take some notes, and then during the podcast, after the introductions, I take, like, 20, 25 minutes to just go over what happened in the episode, my thoughts, my meanings and stuff, and just have that portion, and then we do that weekly until we go through the whole series. And I do the OVAs too. I could do like the 2 shots and the All or Nothing OVAs that they released. Like, has it been a year? It's been a while now since those OVAs came out. But so that'd be like 114 episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho. That'd be kind of cool. For like 114 weeks, we just have those update releases. So I think that'd be cool. So then, like, the first third of the podcast, introductions, basic little news bits, then the Yu Yu Hakusho episode analysis, review, whatever you want to call it. And then, like, the last portion, or like hour-ish of time, we can do, like, whatever main topic we're doing. And then we just have, like, a good, like, I want to say, like, 50 to 55 minutes to talk about it. And then we have, like, our little, whatever outro song we're playing that week. And then that'll be it. I think that's the structure I want. Because I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a good use of our time. It would keep us grounded in the topics we need to talk about, so we're not burning through time and wasting time. And it'd keep me from rambling if I had a co-host. So it'd be like introductions, quick little nerd updates. That'd be like the first 10 minutes. Then a good 20 to 25 minutes will be spent on Yu Yu Hakusho episode review / analysis, then a good 50 to 55 minutes on our main topic, then outro, and we're good. So I think that'd be cool. I think that's what I want to do. So I'm going to be working on planning that out and seeing if I can get a co-host so we can schedule some time to work on things. And going forward into 2020, I think that's what we'll do for season 2 of 40 Ounce Fridays. So let me know what you think about that. If you have any suggestions to help better structure the podcast, I'd be so down to hear them. And I'm sorry about this fucking chair. I'm trying to just sit comfortably in it and not cause it to squeak violently. But I think that's it for the podcast stuff, like technical aspects, structure aspects. So this next part's going to be really short. It's just another random tale stuff. So as of now, with writing another random tale, I'm still working on editing and updating, like polishing character descriptions and profiles and whatnot. Working on that, sending it to the illustrators. I know the illustrators right now are working on designs and other things like the background and layouts and stuff like that. So I've just been emailing them information, and they've been, working on plans and whatnot as we go forward. It's the same thing with the podcast co-host. We just need to find that good scheduled time to get together and work. But like I said, I think I said it like 2 weeks ago, once we move into 2020, I think that's when we'll really get that started. I think the rest of 2019 is just going to be planning stuff out for for Another Random Tale. So that's, as far as that goes, I think that's it. I hope I didn't hype that up too much, because maybe in my head I felt like I had more to say about it, but I didn't. So, can I add anything else? I'm trying to think if I want to say anything else about Another Random Tale, just purely because I don't want to spoil anything, especially now that we're moving into the comic draft, because that's, like, the real draft of the story, like, the real final, like, product that I want to put out once we put it down on the comic book and paper and panels and all that stuff. So I don't know if there's much I want to say. Maybe later on this year or at the start of 2020 we'll say more. Because I want to upload character profiles to our project page for the Another Random Tale characters. But I want the drawings to be done, like the illustrations, like the final drafts of the illustrations, like what the characters will look like in the comic book. That way, when I upload the profiles, you can see what they look like, what the design is going to be for the comic book, and get, like, a profile, like basic information, like basic backstory, basic seals, and things like that, like basic character info things, and make them look like these cool little card formats or something like that. I don't know. And then we can have, like, a photo album for those as we go through the comic book and introduce more people. We can add those to the catalog of those character profiles. That way you can, like, go to the page and see the character profiles. I think that'd be cool. But I want to wait until we get illustrations down before we do that. And I'm working on character profiles still right now, too. But, other than that, no, I don't even want to say that, because that's kind of important. I was going to say something. There's something new I added into the story. Like, one last thing. But I don't want to say it because it's not spoilery at all, because it's just integrated into the plot really early. But I'll wait. I don't want to, I'll use this to entice whoever cares, who's ever listened to the podcast and is following the progress of Another Random Tale. There you go. Something to look forward to, something new once we get to the comic book and whatnot. I guess for now we'll move into art project in general. Art project, if you didn't know, is what I want to call a company. It's not really a company, because it's just me, and I guess the writing team I have right now, or the illustration team and editors and whatnot I have now for Another Random Tale once we move forward with that. But it's like, in the future, when we get the ball rolling, get the comic book out, better quality podcast, all that good shit, once we get that to a better point, it's like, that's what I want the company to be called, Art Project. Because it's like, the reason why I want to call it Art Project is because Another Random Tale is abbreviated to art. And I did not do that on purpose. I don't know if I said that before or not, but when I was originally starting to write the idea, like the basic plot line and like the basic character idea for KJ and like basic ideas for the story in general, it was definitely a lot more parody style of a story. Like, I was parodying way hard on like anime and cartoons I really liked. I was joking, I was clowning them a lot really hard, but that's because I love those stories. So if you can't laugh at something you love, I don't know. But it was much more of a parody, so I wanted to give it a wacky name. So before, it was going to be called Another Random Myth, because the whole idea of Another Random Tale was that it was going to have those serious moments, but it was definitely like having those like how Gintama is definitely a big funny comedy parody joke of a lot of other series too. But it has those arcs where they're just dead fucking serious. Like, it was kind of going to be like that. I feel like it was going to be more on the serious side than Gintama, which isn't a bad thing. I'm just saying, I think Gintama balances that out a little better. But it was kind of going to be like that if I had to give, like, a close comparison. But the whole idea of Another Random Myth is just, like, it's another one of these random anime stories. That was the idea. Like, that's why I called it that. But when one day I, like, abbreviated it because I was just typing and I didn't want to write out Another Random Myth. And I was like, ARM? I kind of wouldn't want it to be abbreviated to ARM. Hey, you read ARM? You seen ARM? Like, I thought it was weird, so I was like, maybe I should change myth to something else. And I just changed it to tale, and it was abbreviated to art. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So that's how it happened. I did stick with it because it sounded cool, A.R.T, art, but it wasn't originally another random tale. So, what is that noise? I hope that doesn't come up on the headphones. But, what was I saying? But the reason why I call it an art project is because of that, because that's like the first thing I want to come out of art project is another random tale, like as a comic book. But I want to do other, and it's an art project. It's writing a story, making a comic book is an art, writing a book is an art, music is an art, drawing and painting, art, dance, art, like that. But eventually what I want art project to become is a hub for all of that. Like, I don't want it just to be stuff I create coming out of art project. Of course, starting out, that's what it's going to be, because I have to have something to show for myself, like a product, an ideal. And I feel like if I do it myself, I'll be able to do it my way, and I don't have to really, like, negotiate with people or walk on eggshells or listen to what corporate people would have to say to me. Though, granted, that would be a great opportunity to get some help like that, but the whole idea is that I want it to be a hub for other creatives, too. Once I get the ground rolling for me, I would love for, like, people to be like, we could do music, because I know a lot of music people, and I do music, so we could have music under the umbrella for art project. Like, if people want to do art and painting, we could have that, writing, like, poetry and short stories and stuff. I'm so down for that, because I'm a writer, and I want it to be like that. That's what I want it to be, like, a company dedicated to creativity, because I feel like we need a lot more of that. Because there are companies that have, like, those creative branches and things like that, but just a straight-up company dedicated to the art of writing, music, dance, storytelling, all that good shit. Like, I want it all together in that one umbrella, but this has to come first. Like, the whole podcasting, too. Like, that takes a creative nature, I feel like. I feel like you have to have you have to know what you're saying, you have to have a personality, and I like to think I got a little bit of both of those. I like to think that I have a personality. I mean, people like hearing me talk and ramble. I've gotten enough comments about that, saying like, dude, I love that shit. So I was like, okay, cool. People enjoy it. And I feel like I have stuff to say. That's the whole reason I wanted to do the podcast, because I had something to say. And you don't always necessarily get the time to say that with people, just because life, like, it's busy. So, I made the podcast, and, mainly friends listen to it, but it gives me the opportunity to, in a way, speak with friends that I don't normally get to speak to, just because we're busy. And I know people say, like, bullshit, if you really care about a person, you'll make the time to see them. Not everyone can do that. Like, honestly, no, you can't. You shouldn't have to feel like you need to push yourself to see, like, look, real talk real quick. I see that stuff all the time. People are like, no, if you really care about that person, you'll make the time to see them, this and that and this, blah, blah, blah. Look, man, I'm 25, going on 26. I'll be 26 in 2020. I work, I write, I do the podcast. Not because, I feel obligated to. Well, with work, I feel obligated to, with my current job that pays me. But with writing, it's because I want to write. With podcasting, it's because I want to podcast. I also want to see my friends. I also want to spend time with my girlfriend. And it's a balancing act to do all those things. And there's other people I know who have so much more on their plate. They have school on top of these things that they do, and this and that. And you have to prioritize the way you need to prioritize. And I work because I need to make the money, I need to save up, and I need to do things. I work hard. I like to think I work hard and try my best. And I get home and I'm tired, but I want to write, so I do the character stuff and I send it into the illustrators, and hopefully we get the ball rolling on that, because I want another Random Tale to be something. I've been working on that for years. I want the podcast to be something more, because I really enjoy doing this. And it's like, I love seeing my friends, but I can't just always make time for other people and neglect things I need to do for myself. you should always remember definitely the one thing I picked up from growing up, especially after high school, when I entered college, and even more so after I ended up leaving college to work full time. Not necessarily saying you should leave college, like, do what you feel like you need to do or what you feel is best for your life. I personally want to go back to school too, but that's another matter. But it's less of the fact like, oh, I felt this way after I left school because I left school. It's more because by the time when I left school, I was 22, I believe. I was about 22 years old when I stopped going to college, and I just worked full time. But I feel like I was at that age where life hits you hard as shit, and you have to realize you are your number one priority. And it might sound selfish to some people, but that's bullshit, because you need to take care of you before you take care of anyone else. How are you going to take care of other people? How are you going to be there for people? How are you going to be there for people's best interest if you're not even there for yourself? Like, that doesn't make sense. And that's something I'm still working on. I still spread myself way too thin, in my personal opinion. And there are those times where I do just need to chill the fuck out. And it's hard for me to take those days to just chill and just have those lazy days because I feel bad about them. I feel like, oh, I'm wasting time. I'm wasting this. I could be doing this. But my girlfriend has told me, it's like, you need to fucking relax, man. You need to take that time to chill. You need to rest your brain. You need to think. And I feel like that's going to help everyone in the long run, or most people, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people try to make time for everything, and it burns them out. I've tried it. It burned me out. I was fucking exhausted. There was a period of time for like almost like a year that I didn't work on Another Random Tale at all. Like, I kept talking about wanting to do it. It was definitely still on the table, but I just didn't, because I was so worn out. Because I wanted to, I thought I was like, I have to make time for this. I have to make time for that. It fucks you over at the end of the day. If you can make time for other people comfortably and still do what you need to do, by all means, do it. Do what you feel like you can do. Do not push yourself, though. Do not feel obligated to give other people your time just because they feel like, oh, you don't really care because you don't want to hang out. That's bullshit. You have shit to do. They probably have shit to do. And I hate seeing that because it's just like, no. Sometimes you want to make time for people and you just can't. Life doesn't always find a way. Life is hard like that. You have to take care of yourself first. Always. Then you can help others. How are you going to pick someone else up if you can't pick yourself up, so to speak? I know I might be getting a little, but this is honestly how I feel about that, because I fucking hate that. And I see that from people that I agree and disagree with all the time. I agree with people and I disagree with people all the time. But it's just like, I don't want to get into that discussion just because, like, you could go back and forth with someone for hours about that. But how I feel bluntly is, no matter how bad you want to make time for someone or something, if it's hurting you, don't do it. Oh, it's hurting you, you don't really care. No, you could care, but it's hurting you because you're not taking care of yourself. There are people I know that can juggle all that shit and still make time for others. More power to them. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone is the same. And I think that's the problem. Everyone thinks everyone is the same. And someone accused me of this about that whole, I brought it up in that whole podcast with the Dave Chappelle special, when I was talking about the whole idea of comedy. Not everyone thinks like you, da-da-da-da-da. And it was just like, in my head, I was like, well, first of all, I never said that. And secondly, yeah, everyone does grow up differently and experiences different things, just like how everyone can have a different sense of humor. And I said, if you don't like the joke, more power to you. That's fine. You don't have to like the joke. But you shouldn't make others feel bad because they thought it was funny. That's what I was saying. And she didn't get that. And I think the ironic thing was she said I wanted everyone to think like me, but the whole time she wanted me to think like her. She wanted me to feel bad for thinking that joke was funny because she didn't think the joke was funny. She can not think she can feel that way, but you're not gonna make me feel bad because I laughed at something. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, but like I was saying, it's just like not everyone's gonna think like you, man. Not everyone can make that time. Not everyone can do that and still be in that right mindset. So please, 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 take care of yourselves. Because that's something I gotta learn to do too. I do spread myself way too thin. And sometimes I need to take that time to focus on me so I can do what I want to do. I'm not going to get another random tale off the ground if I keep spreading myself too thin. I'm not going to get the podcast off the ground if I keep doing what I'm doing. Art project's not going to go anywhere if I feel like I have to make time for other people. The time will come when the time comes. You know what I mean? You'll get that time. There's friends I haven't seen in months that I still love dearly. My best friend from, like, middle school. Like, one of my best friends in the whole fucking world, in my life. One of my best friends. Ride or die, dude. Love that dude to death. His mom and my mom lived across the street from each other when they were pregnant with us. His birthday is 2 days earlier than mine. He used to live, like, up the street from me. He lives in the apartment building behind me now. And it's still hard to see him because we both have lives. I work. I make time to see my girlfriend. I try to make time to write, plan out stuff, do the podcast, try to have time to game, and have a social life. It's hard to see people. That person is not less of importance to me just because I see him less. That is still my best friend to this day. That's how I feel. And I'm pretty sure he feels the same way. Because I know he has his own stuff that he's doing too. I'm not going to resent him because we don't make time for each other. When we can get the time together, we get the time together. When I see that dude, it's like, it's crazy because it's not, it doesn't feel like, oh, I haven't seen you in forever. It feels like the good old days back when we were kids and had all that time in the world. You'll make the time for people. There's another good friend that I haven't seen in a few months. Love that dude to death. He doesn't live that far from me either. It's like a 30-minute walk from my house. Haven't seen him in a while because he's busy and I'm busy, but when we get together, it's like nothing happened. It's like no time at all. Another best friend, like my top 3 best friends. We can hang out all the time. We share memes. We talk all the time. Love that dude to death. We're in a band together. We do music. I haven't seen him in maybe like a month, I want to say. But when we do finally get to hang out again, that shit's gonna be dope. Like, you guys gotta understand that when you make time for each other, when you can do that and keep your sanity and keep that energy up, it'll be good. It'll feel good. If you try to force it, it's not gonna feel good. So, damn, that was a tangent, but don't feel obligated to make time for people. And if people want to make you feel bad because you don't have the time to see them at the moment, fuck that person, honestly. You know what I mean? You shouldn't feel bad that you're doing what you need to do. Like, oh, you don't make time for me? Like, nigga, I have a family. Not like kids and a wife. I mean, like, I help around the house with my mom and my brother. Like, nigga, I have a family. I have family issues to deal with. Family matters to deal with. But, yeah, I don't even know how I got to that point. I don't even know how I got to that tangent. But but that's what I want to say about that. How did we get from me talking about art projects future to that? I don't even know. I'm going to have to go back to the podcast and listen to that. But I meant what I said with that, by the way. But with art project moving forward, oh yeah, because I want to make a company dedicated to all that stuff. And also, I think the cool part about that is I'm friends with a lot of creative people. all my friends, have creativity somewhere, whether it be art, music, dance, multiples of those things, maybe writing, even tech. So it's if I could get this off the ground and move forward, we can link up, we can meet up, and we can use working as an excuse to hang out again. I want our project to be successful because I want a career out of it. And I feel like when you have a job, it's something you need. You need money. When you have a career, it's something you really love. It's something that you're more than content with. You're I enjoy this. I'm making good money. I do this and this. That's what I feel a career is. So right now I have a job, but art project, I want to make a career. Writing, I want to make a career. And I got a long road ahead of me, I know. But I've come so far, I'm not going to just quit. So yeah, that 2020, we just going to keep it pushing, man. We're just going to keep it moving. 2020 vision in 2020. As corny as that sounds. But we're going to move into the podcast season 2. We're going to start with the writing of another random tale. Shit, man, we're gonna get it done. We're gonna start working more on comic book stuff. Definitely gotta get it done. Still got a few more months of planning. Art projects, gonna keep it pushing. I think once 2020 starts, I'll fully get my social media coordinator to be fully onto all the accounts for our project, like the Twitter, the Instagram, more than, the Facebook and stuff like that. So then I'll be plugging them a lot more during the podcast, just because I feel like there'll be a lot more updates and posts on those apps, on those platforms once that happens. So I want to get the word out for our project essentially more often in 2020. So those are the big 3 plans. And like I said, for me personally, I want to learn how to drive, look into doing a trade school. If I get a car, I'll have better options for work too. So, I'm going to work on me personally too, but for the basics of the goal, which is the career, that's what's happening with those 3 things. And I don't want to ramble any longer because I went into that whole spiel, but which I felt was necessary. But so I think we're gonna wrap it up there. I talked about all I needed to talk about. Yeah, this is definitely a shorter podcast. Usually I go for maybe an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. This is still under an hour. But I just wanted to just dedicate this episode to a close family member of mine. Oh my god, I didn't think I was gonna feel choked up if I brought this up or not. But the reason why I didn't end up podcasting last week is because of some family stuff that happened. My Uncle Tim, he had passed away from cancer last week, or a little before last week. It's been a minute. We're actually going to his memorial tomorrow, and we knew about the whole cancer for a while now, but no one's ready for that to happen. And he's more of a grandfather than an uncle. I just grew up calling him Uncle Tim. He's my uncle's dad, and my mom and her siblings have different dads, so I just grew up calling him Uncle Tim. But he was a strong father figure to my mom and my uncle and my aunt, and he was heavily in their lives. He was heavily in my life. He was in my brother's life for a good portion. My brother's 10 years younger than me, so but even still, great guy. Always was there for us. Always was motivating us, pushing us to go for it, and he didn't want us to mourn him, to grieve him. He's like, you can miss me, but don't grieve. Don't sit in that grief and that sadness. So, we've been doing our best to push forward. But that's probably the big reason why I didn't end up podcasting last week. It just didn't feel right. If that makes any sense. Yeah. But, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this one to him, because he always believed in me and everything I wanted to do, because I've been wanting to write since I was way young, since I was a kid, making up these random Dragon Ball Z comic book stories. Him and my uncle are the people that really got me into anime. Like, I knew about the shows, but the reason why I got so into Dragon Ball Z is because they got me into Dragon Ball Z. And, excuse me, they gave me, like, VHS tapes with just a bunch of Dragon Ball Z episodes recorded off of the Cartoon Network. And I was just fucking in awe with them, dude. I loved it. So, dedicate that to a great guy, someone I would recognize as one of my heroes. And, I don't want to go any deeper with it because it just took everything in me not to fucking cry right now. I didn't think I was going to feel that emotional about it at this point. Like, I thought I got all that out, but I guess I hadn't yet. But love you, Uncle Tim, and I know you're going to still be there for everyone. Whew, man. Okay, so, I got myself together. I didn't want to sign off. Woof! I didn't want to sign off like that, but, yeah, next week we should be back on schedule with normal topics. I don't know what I'll be talking about next week for episode 16, but I'll know soon enough. But, this is just an update. So yeah, a little shorter than what I'm usually used to, like 20-30 minutes shorter than what we usually do. But just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on, what I have planned for 2020, how we'll be moving forward from this point on, and what's going on with life right now for me. But thanks for rocking with me still. We're 15 episodes in now. Many more to come. We got 13 more episodes before our the season 1, so to speak, ends for 40 Ends Fridays. But I don't think I'm gonna run out of shit to rant about or nerd gush over. You know what? I think next week we'll talk about Dragon Quest XI and how I feel about the Switch port so far, because by then I'll have a whole week of playing it to give a better opinion of how I feel about it, about the Switch port. But so far, I think it's good. Definitely a visual downgrade, but I was expecting that. But it looks pretty fucking good still, honestly. And, I mean, if you play it in 2D mode, that shit does not matter anyway. But, because some people like the old school graphic style. But, yeah, you know what? I'll talk about Dragon Quest XI next week, because I'll have a week's worth of playing it by then to discuss and give more thoughts on how I feel about the Switch version. I don't know how far I'll get. It depends on how much time I'll get to play. But I'm going to play it right now, actually, when this podcast is over. So, I hope you guys have a good Friday. Sorry about the squeaky chair again. But we'll be moving on up. So next week, Dragon Quest XI stuff. Dragon Quest XI-S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition. That'll be the podcast. So, have a good Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I hope the work week doesn't end up kicking your ass. And I will see you guys again on Friday. Latest. Hey.